There have been tons of spoilers and speculations about many of the singles Inferno participants this season, but surprisingly, there's almost nothing on Dongho. Even his Instagram posts are as dry as weed lol, except for a few likes on posts that ship him and Arin together which Arin liked. However, recent interviews and body language shifts have set the internet on fire. But before we get into that, let's talk about the Dongho we know from the show. Dongho is easily one of the most unpredictable cast members this season, mainly because his expressions never change. He constantly looks confused, lol. It's like he's never had this much attention in his life, and now, out of nowhere, 3 women are actively vying for him, so no wonder he seems a little lost. But the big question is, who will he choose in the end? Quick disclaimer. These are just my thoughts and a few netizen speculations, so don't take them as facts. Also, please watch or listen to the entire video to avoid misunderstandings. I always try to be as logical and fair as possible, whether I like someone or not, so please keep that in mind as you watch. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, watch the ads all the way through and hit the notification bell. Thank you. So with that out of the way, let's dive in. First off is Dongo and Arin's initial spark. In episode 2, Arin won a game and went to the men's Inferno, giving all the guys a chance to interact with her one-on-one. Dongo was the first to find her attractive at first sight. He even helped make her dinner and served her. But before we go further, have you noticed how different the editing is this season? It's like they intentionally chopped up scenes and rearranged them to confuse us. At first, it might seem disorganized, but trust me, every cut is deliberate. And one thing I picked up on is that the show makes a clear distinction between how Dongo's story with Arin started versus how he met Halen. His first convo with Arin was never aired, but Halen's had more details. When he met Arin, we first see him complimenting her earrings. Then, the next day, when Xian and Eugene joined the men's Inferno, he was instantly attracted to Eugene and he had a conversation with her where he described his type as someone positive, with a pretty smile, and an overall cheerful vibe. He also mentioned that his feelings could change based on conversation, then he added that the more he talks, the more curious he gets. He also agreed with Eugene that they feed off the other person's energy. When it was time for the first pairing, Dongo chose Arin, but she didn't choose him back. Dongo said he talked with her a lot but we didn't know what they talked about. It probably wasn't memorable enough for Arin to have chosen him then. Instead, we saw her dialogue with Theo, who encouraged her to go with her gut and not think too much about it when making a choice, which led to her choosing Theo. But, after realizing she completely misread Theo, and that Dongo had actually picked her, Arin immediately set her focus on Dongo. But from Dongo's perspective, that moment stuck. Arin didn't choose him at first, and to make things worse, no other guy in Inferno had shown interest in her except him. It makes you wonder if her feelings are just conditional or genuine. That initial rejection caused a shift in Dongo's feelings. Since Arin didn't pick him, he quickly pivoted to Eugene. But as we saw, the campfire scene with Eugene made him reconsider and turn his attention back to Arin. He did this knowing there were no other options at the time, plus, he still liked her obviously. After the campfire, Dongo and Arin had an honest conversation where he admitted he was interested in both her and Eugene. He even told Arin that he had already given up on her, thinking she wasn't interested. Then Arin dropped the question, asking if he was still interested in Eugene, that she just wanted to be aware. LOL, this was a point where I thought, I may have missed something, because she was already sounding like his girlfriend, or maybe that's just in my view. Dongo reassured her that he was no longer interested in Eugene, and after he said that, they both appeared solid. I was settled with that fact that no one can shake either of them again. However, I remembered his first conversation with Eugene where he said that having conversations can make him curious and have a change of heart. Note that Dongo wasn't apprehensive in this scene, rather, he assured her. Fast forward to episode 5 and boom, Halen enters the scene. From the get-go, Halen made her feelings very clear. During her intro, she said that when she's around someone she likes, she blushes, and that she's drawn to guys who get shy when she flirts with them, which sums up Dongho's actions in a nutshell. During their first conversation, she told Dongho straight up that she liked his personality and was really into him. This was a first. None of the other ladies had said anything this direct to him before. It was also from first impression, so you can imagine how strongly this could impact a man's feelings. That's why, from the moment they met, you could feel the chemistry. Dongho was intrigued. Halen entered Inferno just like Arin did as the only female with most of the men. She had conversation with all the guys just like Arin, but she chose Dongho first while Arin didn't. Also, you can clearly see how the edits are different. They showed us a huge chunk of Halen's first conversation with Dongho, but none of Arin's first convo with him was shown. Why is that? Next comes the paradise date. The way Dongho kept looking at her during their date said a lot. I'd never seen him looking at any other female on the show like that until then. The most interesting part of their conversation was when she said she's interested in him because they were complete opposites. She kept reading right through him and even called him out, saying she knew he was never into girls like her, and he agreed. But then he admitted he was curious about her. Halen wasn't like any of his exes, which made her unique in his eyes. He mentioned that he usually likes pure, innocent types, but then quickly compared her to the sun and called her pretty. Then we had the car scene. She was blushing really hard in the car. Her entire face was red. And she already said she blushes when she's with someone she likes. It was at this moment that I began to take her feelings for Dongho seriously. She wasn't faking it. And they had good chemistry. Actually, theirs was the first real chemistry I felt on the show. Then there's the unaired pool scene with Jongsu in the mix. But that didn't stop Dongho from being touchy. Each and every skinship moment during this paradise trip was initiated by Dongho first. It just felt like Dongho wanted to be a bad boy for at least once in his life, ha ha ha. Not that I know him personally, but that's exactly how it came across. It just felt like Halen was giving him a chance to explore his wild side, and he welcomed it. After returning to Inferno, he carried her bag for her and sat next to Arin feeling a little uncomfortable. Fast forward to the coffee date he had with Arin. She was a bit pouty about how he carried Halen's bags and expressed some sort of jealousy, which made him give her an adorable smile because he finds her cute. He also gave an awkward detail about his previous date with Halen when Arin asked. This was the second time she's asking him questions like they were already dating. This time, he still finds her cute without reacting much to it. Then, when it was time to pick for paradise, they chose each other. And honestly, if the show ended at episode 7, I'd say they were endgame. Their paradise date was full of deep conversations. They even talked about marriage and realized they grew up in the same neighborhood. The connection was there and they had so much in common. This is why many netizens believe that Dongo and Arin were meant to be, because they have too many coincidences that connected them together. She even visits his workplace sometimes even though they've never met. He was so into her that while in the pool, he told her to win the next game and bring him back to paradise. This showed how much he enjoyed their date and liked her. He also probably wanted to come back there with her for their final paradise date because he didn't want to get swayed last minute. But instead, Halen fought hard and brought him to paradise, and he even laid in the same bed with Halen. This was something he wouldn't do with Arin on their date. It is also worth noting that in episode 9, what he once found cute in Arin suddenly became exhausting. After waiting 3 hours for him to finish talking to Halen, Arin became frustrated and sort of became whiny again. But this time, Arin's jealousy wasn't cute to him anymore. It became draining. This was the third time Arin is being possessive like they've started dating, and based on his reaction, he seems to be turned off by that attitude. And remember, Dongho said he likes bubbly sunshine-like people. That last moment with Arin, when she got worried that he was talking with Halen for too long, might not have worked in her favor. I think he will let loose in the next episode and have a lot of fun with Halen, which will make his final decision a very difficult task. From what I saw, Dongho was more comfortable, intrigued, and genuinely interested in Halen. And if I had to bet, I'd say they're the real endgame couple. Even in their post-show interviews, they seem to click, giving off major "we're actually dating" energy. And based on how the show is edited, like I've stated in this video, it seemed they were preparing us for a Dongo and Halen ending. Meanwhile, many fans and shippers of Dongo and Arin have a different view. They stated that during an interview after the shoot, Dongo clearly expressed that he had realized how cool it is when someone can articulate their feelings well. Fans are saying he was referring to Arin, but that can also be Halen since she's very direct with her feelings. Also, when he was asked to define love, he said it's something that allows him to show his honest and pure self. Many believe he was talking about Arin since he seemed more natural around her, and I agree. But then again, with Halen, he's constantly impressed by her actions, so he can't fully be himself around her because of that excitement, or whatever you want to call it. She stirs something up in him. Not sure if that's the right word, but okay. Some say Dongo and Arin have been liking posts that ship them together, fueling the belief that they're the real couple. Plus, this video of Arin looking pitiful during the arm wrestling match also gave off the vibe that he might have ended up with her if we apply reverse psychology. I never had any doubts in my prediction until I saw this video and remembered that a man will always choose whom he loves most. But what do you think? Did Dongo pick Halen or Arin? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and like the video.